Straight all day.
Now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to occur. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. What is that? That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all of this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques, all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic, we are talking about how the law of attraction really works. And we're going to discuss this. Actually, we're going to break this down in 2 episodes, today and tomorrow, explaining the law of attraction. Before we get into that, let me tell you 3 things you should know. Number 1, if you are not getting my daily motivation text for free every single day straight to your phone, that's probably because you just didn't know about it. But now I'm telling you, so here's what you got to do to get it. Go to your phone, go to the text message app, and compose a text message to go to the following number, 305-384-6894. Send a message to that number right now, and every day starting tomorrow when I send out the daily motivation like I do every day, you will be receiving it as long as your phone's working and our systems are working. You'll be getting that text every single day, guaranteed to keep you focused, sharp, and on point. So text me at that number right now so you'll be getting the daily motivation every day. Number 2, if you have not yet claimed your free copy of my book called The Mirror of Motivation, the Self-Guide to Self-Discipline, the book is all about how do you become the type of person you need to become. We're going to be talking about that a lot in today's episode so that you can take the actions that you already know you need to take and get the outcomes you want in your life. That is at mirrorofmotivation.com. The book is free. All you're going to do is cover the shipping. Just go to mirrorofmotivation.com and I got you covered on that. And number 3, all you business-minded folks who are interested in making more money in your business, I want you to understand that there are certain things that people who are in the top 1% of their professions, certain things that they do that other people simply are not doing. I'm going to explain to you what those things are that they do and how you can actually apply them in your work and in your life so that you can start maximizing your return on investment from all the hard work you're doing every day. Go to workonyourgame.net. The training is completely free. At the end of that training, because I know some of you sometimes ask me, Dre, do you offer any kind of coaching or mentoring, or do you work with people, or how does it work, or anything like that? The answer is yes, I do offer coaching. I have one coaching program. If you would like to get into it, what you're going to do first is go to workonyourgame.net, watch that training. At the end of it, there will be an opportunity for you to schedule some time on my calendar to talk to me directly about how my program works, what it will look like if we were to work together, and everything that comes with it. All the other questions that you have will be answered in our conversation that you'll have directly with me. If you're interested in that, just go to workonyourgame.net, watch the training. At the end of the training, the link will come up, the schedule will call me, and we take care of it from there. So any of you who's ever asked, Dre, do you offer coaching? That's how you get it. And that link is also down below in the show notes. The website is just workonyourgame.net. You listen to a show called Work on Your Game, you know the link. All right, so with all that said, let's get into the topic now of how the law of attraction really works. Now, I was remiss to find, because I mentioned the law of attraction. I mentioned the law of attraction a lot of times here on this show and in explaining how it actually works as opposed to how many people think it works. And I was remiss to find out that I had never actually done a full episode just on the law of attraction. Now, I have done episodes on other laws that people know about, such as the law of association. That was back in episode 1880. But I've talked about the law of attraction many times, most notably in episode 2023, one of my favorites. The topic is a life-changing 48-hour experiment. If you have not listened to that episode, I would suggest you do, because that episode is all about how you can get the law of attraction working for you within the next 2 days. Like literally, excuse me, within the next 2 days, how do you get the law of attraction working for you? I tell you exactly how in episode 2023. So listen to that episode. And I mentioned the law of attraction, a bunch of episodes of other things that we talked about here. When we talk about energy, when we talk about how you're showing up, when we talk about what are you attracting to yourself. Let me see if I can give you a couple more episodes so that you can understand. In episode number 2143, it tells you how to be the attractive character for your brand or business. So what type of person do you want to show up as in your business that attracts a certain type of person? You should be choosing this based on who you are trying to attract. In episode 1087, how to have energy that attracts good things to you. These are all episode 185 also. Who are you attracting? Leadership is about who you are attracting and why you are attracting them. So that's just a few episodes where I talked about this, but now that I'm going to have this 2-part series, next time somebody asks me about the law of attraction or I mention it, I'll just send them to these 2 episodes that I'm going to be doing today and tomorrow. So first of all, let me give you an explanation of the law of attraction that I liked, that comes from Wikipedia. It's not a definition, but it's more of an explanation of it. Here it is. Quote, spiritual belief that positive or negative thoughts bring positive or negative experiences into a person's life, close quote. Now, this is somewhat accurate, what Wikipedia says, that positive or negative thoughts bring positive and negative experiences into a person's life. It's somewhat accurate, but it's not completely accurate, because this is not a complete explanation of the law of attraction. Because if that's all it was, then I wouldn't even need to do this episode. I would just tell you that, or I would just tell you, keep thinking what you think the law of attraction is. It is. Because this is what most people think the law of attraction is that if you think positive, you get positive, and if you think negative, you get negative. Does that play a role in the outcomes you get in your life? Does positive thinking help to attract positive things into your life? The answer is yes, it does. But just thinking positively alone is not going to make positive things happen in your life. Conversely, just thinking negative alone will not make negative things happen in your life. Even though many people, just going off emotion, you might think that's what caused things to happen in your life, but often those are just mere coincidences, and it is not the complete story of why things happen in your life. So today, what I'm going to do, and tomorrow, is explain exactly what the law of attraction is, how it really works, how you can start using it intentionally also, because every one of us is already using the law of attraction unintentionally. We've been doing it unconsciously all throughout our lives up until today. So today, what you're going to start doing, this is going to be the life-changing thing that you get from today and tomorrow's episodes, is that you're going to start using the law of attraction on purpose, so that you are on purpose attracting the things that you want in life. So you think about some things that you want that you don't have just yet, but you would love to have them in your life. I'm going to tell you how to use the law of attraction to attract them into your life. And I want you to understand, it doesn't mean you just sit and think about it and it's going to happen. Again, most of you understand that it doesn't work like that. But a lot of you also at the same time may have this idea that that's all the law of attraction is. There's a lot more than that. And that's why we're doing this episode and tomorrow's episode to explain it. So let's get into it. Point number 1. Topic, once again, is how the law of attraction really works. Number 1, all human beings are energetic beings. All of us. We are energetic beings. What does that mean? That means that each one of us is literally and physically vibrating at a certain frequency at all times. So if any of you have ever, there's a guy named Bob Proctor. If any of you ever saw the documentary, I guess it was a movie, the movie called The Secret, or read the book called The Secret, Bob Proctor was at the time when the book came out, I guess he was pretty old when he came out, but he actually passed away just, I believe it was this year or last year, he just passed away. But he was the old white guy with the glasses that kind of looks like a doctor in the movie and also in the book. That book actually helped elevate his brand a lot. But Bob Proctor was one of the guys who talked a lot in that book. And he's a personal development guy. He's one of the founding fathers of the personal development world. So you think Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, Earl Nightingale, these guys, Bob Proctor's one of them. So he was just one that he just lasted longer than a lot of those other guys as far as living before he passed away. And Bob Proctor, when he would do his own seminars, you can look these up on YouTube because he did a lot of seminars that the videos are on YouTube to this very day. And he has many books that he wrote that you can find on your favorite audiobook platforms and just reading, Amazons, etc., etc. Bob Proctor would do these seminars where he would have people come into his live studio audiences, and he would also be selling at these seminars as well. So they'd be like infomercials, but he'd be teaching and selling. And he would talk about this, that if you took a human being, if we took some of your cells, or we just took you, your skin, your hand, your leg, anything, and put it under a microscope, that you could actually see, and you looked at yourself. You look at your hand right now, it looks like your hand is just still if you're not moving. But if you put your hand under a microscope, you would see that there's a whole lot of movement going on your skin right now. And I don't mean like you're moving your fingers. I mean, if you're just sitting still, not moving your hands at all, there's movement going on inside of the cells of your skin and the cells of your body at all times. There's all kinds of movement happening at all times. That's the vibration. That's just part of the vibration. Your whole body, every part of your body, when you're alive, these movements are taking place at all times. Now, if this movement stops, we call that death, and your family will be scheduling your funeral when that happens. So there's always this movement going on inside of your body, and it's literally a vibration at a certain frequency happening all the time, even when you're sleeping. So the earth, at the same time, all right, so now we know that humans, you are vibrating, right? And I'm vibrating, and everybody who's alive is vibrating. Now, here's the other thing you gotta understand. the earth itself is vibrating and moving at all times. So we know that scientifically the earth rotates 23.5 degrees on its axis at all times. This is why we get day and night. We get different, and also that the earth rotates around the sun. This is why we get winter, spring, summer, and fall. Those are the seasons. We get day and night because of the earth's rotation itself, the earth rotating on its own, and we get seasons because of the earth's rotations around the sun. Okay? Now, since the earth is vibrating and moving at all times, also know that all animals and plants are also vibrating and moving, at least those that are alive. So now we know everything out here is moving and vibrating at all times, all living things, including the earth. So if you have ever described yourself as being on the same wavelength as another person, has any of you ever said that? Me and this person just on the same wavelength, or maybe you said the same wave, or you ever just use more common language, you might say, me and this other person just clicked. You ever know anybody like that? Man, I just met this person and we had a conversation for the first time. We just clicked that day. I actually know some people who are best friends. I know some people who are married, who they said when they first met, they had their first conversation. The first conversation was supposed to be a 5-minute conversation, ended up being a 3-hour conversation, and they just clicked, just like that. Has any of you ever known a person who you had that kind of connection with? The reason that happened is because you and that person were literally vibrating at the same frequency at the same time, and you happen to come together at the same time. That's why you clicked the way that you did. You and the other person's frequency was the same. This is how you can meet somebody and immediately have that connection with them, even if you had never met them before. So when you are in a state of, conversely, when you're in a state of disagreement with a person, let's say a person who you know, and you've known them for years, but you're in a state of disagreement with them, that's because you and that person are vibrating at completely different frequencies, at least at that point in time. So when you and another person feel like you can never get on the same frequency with them ever again, that leads to the dissolution of relationships. That's when people get divorced, break up, stop being friends, don't talk to each other anymore, because you're like, all right, the frequency that I'm on, the frequency this person's on, we will never get on the same page. I'm done dealing with this individual. Some of you have had that experience as well. The good thing about us humans, since we have these big complex brains and we have this consciousness and ability to alter our consciousness, is that we can intentionally change our vibrations at any time with the right series of conscious thoughts or emotions or any form of outside stimulation, things such as music or the words of actions of other people. Any of these things can change our vibration at any moment. So for example, has any of you ever, you have a certain type of energy that you're feeling, you want to change your energy, so what you do, maybe you turn on your favorite music, or you get in your car and you blast the music while you're driving, or you put your headphones on and you listen to some music that you like, and all of a sudden it changes your mood, it puts you in a different state of energy. I'm sure everyone who's listening to this has had that experience. And if it's not music, maybe it's a video that you watch, or it's a picture that you look at, or it's something that you do to yourself. Some of you may go do some yoga, or you might meditate, or something that you do, that thing that you do, the activity that you partake in, or the stimulation, the outside stimulation that you give to yourself, that puts you in a different state, puts you in a different energy. Because what it's doing, whenever you tell yourself that you're changing your energy, you're changing your state, you're changing your mood, what you are doing on a scientific level is you are changing your vibration, you're changing your frequency. And this changes the way that we feel. Again, everyone listening to me has experienced this before. We actually go through it all throughout the day. We go through this. We don't always think about the fact that we're doing it, but we do this all the time. And people who are able to stay in the kind of energy and the kind of frequency that they want to be in, like I talked about in episode 2023, the life-changing 48-hour experiment, they do this on purpose and they do it consciously. So any of you who is not doing this consciously and on purpose, I'm suggesting to you, I am prescribing to you that you start doing this consciously and on purpose, because when you're doing it on purpose, here's what happens, is that you can control the positive vibes and a positive mood and a positive energy that you want to be in all the time. So it's not happening randomly, it's happening because you have planned for it to happen. Once you like it to happen systematically rather than happening randomly, we all know what it feels like to be in a good mood. What if you could make yourself get in a good mood whenever you felt like it? Wouldn't that be better? If you're an athlete, for example, you might listen to certain music to get yourself ready for a game or a competition or a workout. Or Some of you may listen to certain spiritual or uplifting music to start your day, to get in a good mood when you're on your way to work. Maybe you listen to something like this show to get you in a certain frame of mind on a daily basis. We all have these different things that we do, maybe sporadically. Some of you do it on purpose all the time in a habitual way. But we are all energetic beings, and we are all vibrating on a specific frequency at all times, which we can change from moment to moment, day by day. And these frequencies change even when we don't do it on purpose. They change because outside stimuli can help change our energies. Whether we want it to change or we don't want it to change, these things happen. So now that we have that baseline established, let's move on to point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is how the law of attraction really works. Point number 2, you always hear me speak of this be, do, and have principle on the show. Who you are being leads to what you do, and what you do leads to what you have. So understanding that since you're vibrating at a certain frequency, whatever energy you are vibrating at, that is your being. Okay, that's what you are being in the moment, is the frequency at which you are vibrating. And that frequency leads to certain actions, or leads to a certain spirit of action, which means the way you are vibrating, who you are being as a person, either controls A, what you do, or B, how you do it. Actually, it controls both. So for example, you might be at a very low frequency and you're still going to do the thing that you're supposed to do, because maybe you're at work and there's certain things you have to do at work even when you don't feel like doing it. So you're at a vibration where you don't feel like doing this thing that you're supposed to do, but you're going to do it anyway because of your duty and your obligation to do your job. But if you changed your energy, you changed your vibration and frequency before you did that thing that you didn't feel like doing, you could change your energy such that you actually feel like doing it instead of not feeling like doing it. Now, here's my question to you. If you felt like doing the thing instead of not like feeling doing the thing, even though you want to do it either way, do you feel like you would do it better if you felt like it as opposed to not feeling like it? Does that question make sense? Do you do things differently when you feel like doing them as opposed to when you don't feel like doing them? Yes or no? I think all of us can agree, yes. And we enjoy what we're doing a lot more when we want to do it than when we don't want to do it. This is one of the things that I talk about in my book, The Third Day. Because all of us, I want you to understand, there are no perfect scenarios in life, folks. There are only trade-offs. I did a whole episode on that. Let me tell you what episode that was. That was episode number 2174. There are no perfect scenarios, only trade-offs. I want you to understand that you shouldn't be looking around in life and thinking that the grass is always greener somewhere other than where you are, because wherever you go, you're going to run into this truth of life, that there's only trade-offs, that there's something you got to trade off for any scenario in life. And this scenario is what we call the third day. Like, being a professional athlete might look like a beautiful job from the outside looking in, but when you get on the inside, you're going to realize there's some days you don't feel like being at that job either. Being an entrepreneur might seem great until you become one. Being a parent might seem great until you are one. Being single, being married, being whatever, anything you can name that's the opposite of where you are right now. I want you to understand that even if you got that, there are going to come moments in that thing that are not as fun as they look from the outside looking in, which means there are going to be times when you don't feel like doing something that you have to do given your role and given your position. No matter what you do, you will run into this eventually. So what the third day is about is putting yourself in a frame of mind to where you feel better about doing that thing. You put yourself on a certain vibration and frequency about doing that thing that you may not be so excited about, to where you do it at the best of your ability even when you don't feel like it. That's what the third day is all about. So it is literally, it's a derivative of what the law of attraction is about. So since you understand that you're vibrating at a certain frequency, whatever energy you're vibrating with leads to either the action you take or the spirit of the action that you take. And we all know that actions have consequences, right? We all can agree. If you do something, then something happens, all right? There's a cause and effect. That's a basic principle law of life. So since those actions have consequences, we usually call that the have part of the equation. B is the vibration, do is the action, have is the result. So this state of energy that I'm talking about here, that you're in right now, we're all in a different state of energy right now. This matters so much because you could do the exact same action 2 different times, but if your energy is different each time, these actions lead to different results. That's why this matters so much. That's why energy is so important. That's why energy is one of the 5 forms of investment that I described in episode 609, time, money, attention, energy, and focus. So can we all agree that when you go to a business, for example, or you call a business and you're dealing with a customer service agent, that their energy matters a lot in your experience, even if they're saying the same, they all say the same things. But can we agree that the customer service agent who sounds like they want to help you, and the customer service agent who sounds like they don't want to help you, can we agree that the difference in energy between the two people, even though they both say the same thing, hey, welcome to whatever, can I help you? Can we agree that their energy affects how that conversation ends up going, even though they both are reading from the exact same script and saying the exact same words? I'm sure your answer is yes. Can we agree that when you say hello to a stranger, the way you say hello, you either let them know that you are not interested in talking, or let them know that you are very interested in engaging? Can we agree to that? Give you an example. Just last week, I believe it was, I think it was on it doesn't matter what day of the week it was, but I had just finished running outside. I don't like running on the treadmills or stuff like that. I only do that in emergencies. But I run outside and I came into my building. There's a certain way I come into the building. In every building I live in, I find the ways that I can get in. I don't like to go through the main entrance to the buildings that I live in, like the front desk area like that, because oftentimes I usually don't wear a shirt because it's hot outside. So I don't want to be walking with no shirt on, sweating through the main lobby of the building. I usually go in through like a back entrance or like service entrance, etc. I always find that area in my building. So I come through that area where I live now, and for some reason there had been some type of system error, so the key that I used to get into the building from the service entrance was not working. So the door would not unlock. So I had to go through, I did have to literally go through the main entrance of the building because the door just wasn't open. Now it's early in the morning. It's not like there's a bunch of people walking around there. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm walking through there, and there was this woman sitting at the front desk. She's working overnight shift, and for some reason I don't know what my building's doing, but for some reason the security company or concierge company that they hire, I think they put their worst quality people in the overnight shift. I'm not saying all of them are terrible, but the worst people they have end up working overnight shift. So this is this girl working the front desk overnight, and she's sitting there with her hand on her face in her hand, and she's looking completely bored and completely unengaged. And I open the door and I'm walking towards her because I gotta walk towards the front desk to get to the elevators. And she's just looking at me. She didn't move, she didn't smile, her eyes didn't say hello. No, she's just looking right at me. And I mentioned to her that the door wasn't working and asked her if she could mention it to management. She was like, okay. And it was just very deadpan. Just her energy was just like, all right, I'm not interested in engaging with you at all. I just want you to go away so I can just sit here and be bored like I was before you interrupted my boredom by walking through the front door. That's the energy that she had. Now, she didn't say that. Again, this is just the energy that she had that I picked up on. But there are other people who work at the front desk. When I walk by, it's a smile, it's hello. They might even know my name. They might ask me a question. Hey, you on your way to a workout? Or if I'm coming from one, how was your workout? How's your day going? How was your weekend? They are engaging. It's the exact same job, and they have the same script, but they have a completely different energy. Can we agree that the difference in energy and the way people engage with you changes a lot? It changes a lot of how the rest of the conversation goes. If you walk up to a person and you say hi to them, the way they respond tells you if they want to keep talking or if they don't want to be talked to at all. We all can agree. The way that we do things matters. It's not just what you do, it's how you do it. And the way that we do things is controlled by the frequency of the energy that we are radiating with at that exact moment. That's why your energy matters so much, because the energy that you have, other people pick up on that energy, and people pick up on your energy subconsciously. They're not picking up on your energy because you have a big sign on your chest that says, hey, here's how I'm feeling right now. Here's how you should engage with me. People pick up on your energy without you saying a single word. Have you ever engaged with a person? You don't have to engage with a person. Have you ever just been out in public? Let's say you're on an airplane, or you're out at the mall, or you're driving your car, or you're just walking around your neighborhood, and you see a person. You do not speak to them at all. They don't speak to you at all. They might not even see you. But you can tell just by watching them, you get a good feel for how they're feeling based on the way that they're moving their body, based on the way that they're standing, based on their posture, based on their energy, based on their where their eyes are focused, based on their eye contact, based on a lot of things about them. You read a lot into a person just based on their energy without them saying a single word. And all of us have experienced this. Again, we may not consciously be thinking about it, but we notice this all the time. And here's the thing, everybody, other people are picking up on this about you at all times as well. This is why that being part, be, do, have, this being part is really, really big. Because if people read into your being and they don't like what they read into, let me back up. Let me say if they read into it. Everybody reads into each other's being all the time. When people read into your being, if they don't like what they're reading, if their minds, their subconscious tells them, nah, don't deal with this person, something about their energy ain't right. If they make that judgment about you, then you'll never get around to the doing part. And which means you can never get around to the having part. What do I mean? What do I mean when I'm saying this? What am I actually saying to you? I'm saying how you show up matters. The energy that you show up with matters before you even open your mouth. Because people are reading this off of you and making judgments about you before you say a single word. Just like I said, this girl sitting at the front desk in my building, the only word that she spoke out of her mouth that morning when I walked by was okay. That's the only thing she said was okay. But based on that, I read her energy like she did not feel like being bothered. She's not really engaged at her job. And if I ran the company that she got hired by, she'd get fired immediately because she doesn't have the right kind of energy to be representing the building or my company at the front desk. Because she's the first line of defense. She's the first person someone comes across and they walk in the building. She shouldn't be representing anyone, let alone a company or a building that, let's just leave it at that. All right, she shouldn't be working there. Her energy's not right. And people are reading this off of you at all times and making judgments about you. Again, they may not articulate it and spell it out like I'm doing here, but they're noticing it, and it is affecting the choices that they make with, for, by, and about you. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is how the law of attraction really works. Number 3, when we change our being, i.e., we change our energy, which we can do intentionally at any time, it changes the results of our actions. Which means, by simple deductive reasoning, everybody, pay attention, the way that we are vibrating energetically has a direct relationship to the results we produce in life. Should I say that one again? Let me say that part again, because this is the most important crux of everything I'm talking about here, and I detailed this in episode 2023, the life-changing 48-hour experiment. When you change your energy, which you have a choice to change at any time, it changes your results, which means the way you are vibrating energetically right now in this exact moment, your energetic vibration has a direct relationship to the results you produce or do not produce. And this energy has more of an effect on your results than even your actions. That's the most important part. Who you are being affects your having more than the doing does. So everybody's trying to have things in life, right? You have a list of goals and things you wish to achieve in life. Hopefully you have them written down. You should. If you follow this show, you better have your goals written down. I want you to understand that when it comes to the be, do, have equation, the being has more of an effect on your having than doing does. Your energy affects your outcomes more than your actions affect your outcomes. And you might be saying, Dre, how is that possible? You got a show called Work on Your Game. Work is an action, Dre. How are you going to say the being has more of an effect on your outcomes than your actions? Because the being affects the doing. So being is above doing. Everything you do is sourced from who you are being. So it's not that the doing doesn't matter. Not that you can achieve outcomes by doing nothing. It's just that the being affects the doing. Therefore, the being is more important than the doing. Because if you don't have the being right, it doesn't matter what you do, you're not going to have the result. And the good news is, you have 100% control over who you are being at all times. So the actions matter, folks, but the energy matters more. So if you want to change the results of your life, instead of looking at your actions, instead go over the top of the actions, like I talked about in my book, Work on Your Game, and look at your energy. It's like if you're at a business and you don't like the way one of the employees is conducting themselves, what do? Now, you might sit there and argue with the employee. You might leave and not spend money at that business. But what some people do is, instead of trying to set the employee straight, what you do, you actually speak to the manager. Let me speak to the boss. Let me speak to the person in charge. Let me speak to your supervisor. You can't get through to the employee, speak to the person above the employee. That's what I'm telling you. Your energy is the boss. The being is the boss. The actions, the doing, are just the employee. What you do is an employee of who you are being. Who you are being is the boss and the owner at the business. What you do is an employee, a worker at the business. Workers can come and go. Actions come and go. Who you are being is more important. It has much more of an effect on the overall results of the business. So if you want the employee's behavior to change, i.e. you want your actions to change, speak to the manager. Everybody follow my extended metaphor here? You want the actions to change, speak to the manager, which is your vibration, your energy. If you don't like the results that your actions are producing, change your energy. Don't look for new actions, look for new energy. All said, let's recap today's class. This is again part 1 of 2. We're not done talking about the law of attraction. But today we're talking about how the law of attraction really works. Many people simply believe it is positive or negative thoughts bring on positive or negative experiences. That's part of it, but that is not the entire thing. That's why we're doing this 2-part series. Point number 1, all of us are energetic beings. We are vibrating at a certain frequency at all times. This is how you and another person you can feel like you clicked with somebody, feel like you've known them forever and you just met them 5 minutes ago. That's because you and that person are on the same energetic vibration, the same frequency at the exact same time. And this frequency matters a whole lot. The good news about this frequency is that you can control it. You can control it at any time. What you consume on a day-to-day basis, the music you listen to, the podcasts you subscribe to, the books you read, the people you talk to, the way you tell yourself about your current situation, all of that stuff affects your vibration. You should be doing this stuff intentionally. And guess what? My book, The Mental Workbook, is all about how to do this intentionally. So if you don't have the mental workbook, go get your copy of the 3rd day. On the 3rd page of that funnel, we're going to offer you the mental game super duper bundle, the mirror motivation funnel as well. We offer you the same 4-book super duper bundle. The mental workbook is one of those 4 books. You need the mental workbook. I guarantee you it will change your life because you're going to lay out how you want your life to change. And then I'm just going to give you the framework for how to actually change it. Point number 2, I speak of the be-do-have principle often on this show. Understand that since you're vibrating at a frequency, whatever energy you're vibrating with leads to the actions that you take. That leads to the having part of the equation. That's why energy is so important. All right, energy can change everything. That's why it's one of the 5 forms of investment, along with time, money, attention, and focus. The way that you do things, the energy with which you do things matters. It is not just that you did it, it's how you did it. This matters. Point number 3, when you change the being part, your energy, it changes the results of your actions. So by simple deductive reasoning, your vibrating energy has a direct relationship to the results you produce in life. If you want different results in life, don't start by trying to change your actions and find different stuff to do. This is what many people do in life. This is why many people spend their whole lives doing, working, yet never achieving the outcomes they want because they don't ask themselves the right question. You're asking the wrong question and getting the right answer. What you need to do is what I talk about in my book, The Mirror Motivation, also in the mental workbook, is change your energy. When you change your energy, the actions will automatically change because your actions are employees of your energy. So when the energy changes, the actions have to change because they are nothing but staff members at the company of your energy. Everybody get it? Your energy is the manager. So if you don't like what the employees are doing, i.e. your actions, ask to speak to the manager. Change what the manager is thinking and actions will change automatically. Everybody follow me? Tomorrow we're going to go into part 2 of this because we're not done. So text me to get my daily motivation straight to your phone every single morning. My number is 305-384-6894 and workonyourgame.net. 5 things that people who are in the top 1% are doing that everybody else is not doing in their business strategically to help them make more money. If you want to learn it, go there. If you want to be coached by me, go there. There is workonyourgame.net. That's the there that I'm talking about. Workonyourgame.net for that free training. Also, at the end of that training, a link will pop up for you to schedule a call with me, but you need to watch the training first so you know where I'm coming from. Work on your game. Dre all day.